think I'm going to start, then I'm going to let people in. For me, I think we played well. I think Ntseki did very well with the plan that he had for the Sundowns game, right? Very similar to something that we had spoken about on the show last week, saying that you need to press certain areas of Sundowns. So what Rulani was saying there, that they were going down the left, I told you guys, AB is the guy you press, right? So it was very good to see that they were forward pressing, and it was very good to see them put Sundowns under pressure. I've said plenty of times here on this show that Sundowns can't defend the transition, but also the defenders, when pressed, they leave two defenders. And when pressed, that can be an issue. So I'm glad that Ntseki saw this and they played towards that and put Sundowns under pressure. If not for that early goal, maybe this game plays out a different way. But again, we keep making those mistakes ourselves, right? In the first game, Castillo did a random back pass that should have been offside, but it was another Peterson mistake that got them the win there. In this game, it's a Peterson mistake again that got them into the game very early, 10 seconds in, and changed what Chiefs was going to do throughout the game. But like I said, Ntseki did very well up to the point where Gonzalez came onto the pitch. When Gonzalez came onto the pitch, we changed what was threatening about Kaizer Chiefs. I don't think it was so much of a tactical switch from Sundowns. It was more to do with us. We had a direct pacey option in Nutupria, in Potsani, in Modi. Potsani in particular was pressing very well in Sundowns, especially Mbule, especially AB. The moment we brought in Gonzalez, Sundowns didn't have to worry about what we were going to do to them because Duprea was now making tackles at the back. Duprea was no longer up on the line where he'd been most dangerous, and Potsani being out took away that pressing that we'd done so well. So I think it was a great plan. Almost won it, almost got it through. Obviously, I know a lot of people are going to speak about a certain incident that happened to Tanzani, but we'll get to that. But in terms of tactically, I think Ntseki is one of the coaches that understands the Sundowns. And the question that I always have about molefi Ntseki is it just a case that he's the one tactical plan that he has just so happens to work versus Sundowns and not versus Abo Royal AM, Abo Super Sport, and that it's going to be up and down season, that we're just a hoodoo team? Or is he a planning coach that knows what he's doing? That is the question we have. But guys, I'm going to open up so that we can speak about this. Please remember that you have to be following me on TikTok and join me while I'm live on TikTok. For those listening on Facebook, in order for you to add your voice to the show, there's a button there at the bottom that says multi-guest. So just click on that and then you can join me. In the meantime, I'd also like to send a shout out to UN Ntlatseng. 100 Rand. Thank you so much for the donation, my brother. I saw it come in. I'm going to put your name up, but I wanna shout you out because, as I had said, I'm not allowed to monetize this via ads, which was going to be my number one monetization plan. So I have to come to you guys to ask for ask for you guys to help donate to keep this up. Support us, content creators, guys, who do this and provide these platforms so that we can carry on going. But thank you so much to N Ntlatseng. Thank you. Let me bring in the first panel. I'm going to go 3 panels. So what's going to happen is that I'm going to ask you for general thoughts. Then I'm going to ask you a specific question. Then I'm going to let the next panel come in. So everybody's going to get 2 rounds at least to speak about what we need to speak about here. So let me let everybody in. Ndlela, welcome to the show, my brother. How are you doing?
Wala uthi ngibingelele nepanel nama-fans lana.
So ngitshele from Saturday sesikhame down kancane. What are your general thoughts? What are your general thoughts ngale game?
Njengoba usho ukuthi Ntseki does understand game Sundowns. And Ntseki, I feel like he's good when it comes to planning and preparing the team. But when it comes to winning, I think Leon Tole, it's one of those things that he needs to align. And also, he needs to take away favoritism. Because coming to that game, Kaizer Chiefs did well in terms of pressing Sundowns, putting Sundowns under pressure, in terms of successful tackles and also position retention and also nama successful passes forward. I'm talking about Abomatlo lapha midfield. So Umatlo did well against Abombule and even Mokwena. Remember, Mokwena is one of those best players. It's the best player, one of the best midfielders that is now like currently is Mokwena, and he did well against Mokwena. And the way Kaizer Chiefs, they were pressing. We should have scored at least 2 goals, but I was not impressed by the way Peterson keeps on doing mistakes and the coach does not drop him. This is the 3rd mistake Enzo Peterson so far, and it seems like coach is still playing him. So that comes down to favoritism because he caused the Kaizer Chiefs against Sundowns. He caused the Kaizer Chiefs against TS Galax. And now he caused the Kaizer Chiefs again against Sundowns. What does this say to you as a coach or the whole technical staff? Why do you keep playing goalkeeper? That is making costly errors. So you need to drop that goalkeeper. And coming to our substitute, I think they did well by bringing in Dove. Because without Dove there, if Azang Dove, then Sundowns they were gonna overload that left hand side and they were gonna score maybe a goalless 3. So the Kaizer Chiefs they tried, but in terms of a substitution, how can you bring on Gonzalez ahead of Uranga? Is it effects of favoritism, or you think Uranga is Gonzalez is entitled to play because of you just signed him from South America? So it's one of those things I don't understand, because Uranga is PSL experience, even Africa experience. How can you play Umuntu who was not on the game? Like as a sub, you should do something. Okay, we saw against SuperSport that Gonzalez Supersweet was holding the ball well, but in terms of finishing and also linking up the players work, like he was off. Like angeke keep Posane no mode and ufaka usayile. Yes, usayile uzamile, but seems like na tactically le match la overload near the Sundowns singakhala sithini, but we need the Sundowns le match because ku midfield Kaizer Chiefs they were okay ku midfield. The three midfield era Matlo, Castillo and Umat, they did well. However, kule match I felt like Castillo bekathi ukhathala kancane. Because sekona Castillo beka pam. I could see the bekadlala ngakhona. He was doing ama-passes and ama-passes bawaphelela kulibusa. If waphelela kubusa bawaphelela ku-Grand Kekana. And u-Grand Kekana did well there. Player position ka Motaung. I expected him ukuthi lapha uzoba freeway, but he did well holding lapha nama fullback. So Chiefs could have won that match only if Patrice uqhubekile the way bakangadlala khona first half, which was like pressing, waiting for a counter attack. But second half seems like Patrice bagadlalela ukumarka and no one was helping Patrice. Because now Gonzalez, I saw what Ntseki tried to do lapha. Because of putting in Gonzalez, he was hoping Gonzalez is gonna link up Nabo Said and Nabo Patrice. But Gonzalez did the opposite because of Ulibusa was winning Amapola Lapan against Gonzalez. So it was useless bringing in Gonzalez.
How much do you think the changes made? Because we speak about Gonzalez. Gonzalez came in and I still believe that we don't have a plan for Gonzalez when he's on the pitch. But also Umatlo did a lot of hard work in that midfield, and when he was taken out, Gwabai freeway.
You know, that's the thing. Uyakhuluma is well spoken, but the way when it comes to imaging, like he makes a lot of mistake. It was a mistake taking off Umatlo. Umatlo was the best player there for Kaizer Chiefs. How can you take off Umatlo and ufaka abomdu? I don't have a problem putting in Mdu Shabalala, but Umatlo there was handling in midfield kahle, and Umatlo akakhathali, umbonile Umatlo ukuthi akakhathali. So that's why I'm saying it comes down to favoritism, because Umatlo was there last season. Why about us on bebengamdlalisi. So it comes down to favoritism. Kaizer Chiefs, they favor my players ahead of other players because Umatlo is the best player. And then now signing Umtata, I feel like Kaizer Chiefs, they're gonna have a hard decision on playing in midfield there, Bolapaya.
Ungakhipha bani?
Oh, Umatha kaphume because
Mara
he was
bazongikhipha
doing.
Mart.
No,
Bazongikhipha.
listen. You know why ngithi Umatha kaphume? Because
Yeah.
Umathi he was doing crosses, long balls, and long balls. It was either going to be throwing a Sundowns or izophela kulibus. So he was not finding any player. So mina ngizokhipha Umathi because Umatlo can play forward passes. He can. Ubonile pass ayishayele uDupree. Unfortunately, uDupree missile. So keep Umathi faka uMatlo faka umthetho faka uCastillo. Umatlo Umathi akadli bench kancane.
Okay.
Yeah.
Vutlhari, I'm gonna jump to you, Vutlhari. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, that's my thoughts.
Sharp, Zela. Vutlhari, are you with me?
Yes, man. How are you?
No,
I'm
I'm
with
okay,
you,
my
my guy.
brother. I'm okay. I'm calmed down. Tell me, what are your general thoughts about this game?
Ngicela ukubulisa wena uthi nalabathenga abo-referee as I say was my general thought of the game. For me, I think Chiefs played well, and I feel like I wanted Matlo to go for the longest time. I didn't see his potential, but I think there's a reason why Omata left, but not Matlo.
Yeah.
I think generally Matlo is a player. He's able to, he's able to take on players and do the right thing. There's a pass that he made that hit Udupree in his foot, in his heel. That was a good pass. If Udupree managed to open his leg, the ball pass, it was a goal because it was going to be one-on-one with the goalkeeper. So for me, Matlo played well, and I think the pressing of Upunta and Udupree, that worked wonders because you could tell that when they press in a skewed circle that they want to push the ball to one direction. And I think Rulani spoke about that as well, that they force them to go on the side because you can't allow Sundowns to pass the ball in Mokwena. And when they pass the ball in Mokwena, you guarantee to be hit. But for them putting the ball to the side, then didn't allow Sundowns to have the fluidity of the game as they normally do. So for me, he played well, he played well. And there's something that he wants to do, for which doesn't come out, but I don't know if he doesn't have the training part of it. He wants to play the passing football, or the fans are forcing him to play good football. It's either of the two. But on the game, I think they did well. I think they were supposed to leave the two until the 60th minute, the 70th minute. You were not supposed to substitute to Matlo. Matlo was supposed to stay in the game until the end because he was the engine of the game. He was the engine of the game. And looking at Matlo can play as a 10, according to me, the way he was playing yesterday. He was progressing. And I want to differ with you. And there's something that Atazwane said last season. He said, Matlo has not reached his potential. But the day he plays, you look at his forward passes. He does not have back passes. He has only forward passes, for which I love that about him. Our defense is okay, guys. I think our problem is the mistakes that our goalkeeper is making. Even that goalkeeper mistake, Ushalulile was inside the center circle, so it was a foul. It was a foul kick off. So, but generally, I'm proud of Kaizer Chiefs. On the Sundowns part, on an overall, guys, let's give the colored boy who got Kuzie his flower.
Okay.
My man, he's the slowest player you can ever get, but the smartest player as a two. Wow, my man. Look, if the ball gets to Kuzie, you are guaranteed problem. But in that game, I don't know if it was the Sundowns section, but at some point he was forced to play as a right back because of how it was pressing. Because he pressed in a very aggressive way. It was aggressive. His pressing was aggressive and fast because the players are fast. So it will force Ukuzie because he's slow towards the side, and that made him not effective. For me, big up to Chiefs. But taking a rest, which is lose, that's all I can say. But I'm proud of you.
Hey, what a start to all. What a start to all. Stanzo, welcome to the show, my brother. How you doing?
Afternoon, OT. Afternoon. It's been a long time since I've been on this afternoon panel. Yeah.
I have to wait for holidays for you guys to come back. I have to wait for holidays. Tell me, what are your general thoughts of this game?
I mean, I know I'm going to get banned after what I'm going to say or reported on TikTok. Yeah, but I must be honest. I don't think a lot of fans are looking at this in a holistic way. When you look at Sundowns, before the game started, we were all looking at them winning 4-0, 3-0. We were all seeing this as an easy game for them. And again, Sundowns suffered. We looked at them to play Pirates. They didn't do well. They played, the quality is there, but they didn't play effective. Everyone was expecting Sundowns to whitewash Chiefs, especially at the home ground, to whitewash Chiefs. And it didn't happen. And I saw a comment here and someone was saying it, and I think it's something we need to look at. Is Sundowns still that strong Sundowns, or is it just the quality? Are they buying just the right players to play them, to preserve what they have? But when we look at them tactically, they didn't have a right back, a natural right back. They didn't have a natural left back. They didn't have a winger. They didn't see where Chiefs is weak, and Chiefs is weak in the middle. Chiefs is weak on the left. Even where the mistake happened, where Peterson and Dikotre and Simang, between the three, that mistake that happened, that's where the weakness of Chiefs is. But he couldn't even take advantage of that, and not that he didn't have players. Mokwena was there. He couldn't play him, So for me, I feel like, yes, Sundowns is still a good team. And I think it's only a good team because they have the money. They have the money to buy the players. And the players that come there are usually hungry, and they have just enough quality to be just a step above. But in terms of when we watch Sundowns, it's not the Sundowns of Pitso. It's not the Sundowns with Billiard. It's not that Sundowns that could destroy teams. Last time Sundowns beat a team and we all were gobsmacked was, I think, Pirates, when they beat Pirates properly, that 4-0, and Pirates destroyed the stadium. But right now, Sundowns isn't that team. We can say, yes, this, but honestly speaking, in that Sundowns starting 11, for me, I think there's maybe 7 or 6 players I would have taken out. Mbule created a penalty, almost got a yellow card. I could have taken him out. He was giving me nothing. Tembazwane wasn't giving me anything. That guy who's playing at the back, AB, you were even saying it on the stream that this freeway. Yes, the freeway, guys. Yes, the freeway, but they couldn't take advantage. So for me, we're trying to make it as if Chiefs is playing well. Chiefs is not playing well, guys. Chiefs has not been playing well. Sundowns just has a difficulty beating Chiefs, and that's historical. It's not before ntseki. It's not now because of ntseki. Even Atazwane, they couldn't beat him as easily, So for me, I hear what people are saying, that Chiefs played well. Yes, on the day, Chiefs played well because we managed to contain Sundowns, which we know is a good team. But for me, I don't feel like Sundowns is still at that level, because if Rulani is as good as people say in quality as Chiefs, as Sundowns is such a good quality team, you can't tell me a coach that just comes now, who doesn't have any experience. You have the best teams, the best players in the league. You can't beat him. You can't beat him convincingly. No, then something must be wrong. Then clearly something must be wrong, because when you look at overseas, you look everywhere. Teams that come in the league, or new coaches, they get taught a lesson very fast. You get 4-0, 5-0, 8. I was watching Newcastle this past weekend. They win 8-0. 8-0 to show you that, no, you guys are still coming here. We are still new here. But we sometimes couldn't do that to Chiefs. And I don't think Chiefs played well during the week. I don't think Chiefs played well in the last maybe 5 games. Last game I saw Chiefs playing, I think, was when Modi scored those 2 goals. But they haven't played well. So for me, Sundowns, I must be honest, they might have the good structure and the foundation which was given by Pitso. I feel like that's what's keeping Sundowns afloat. But in terms of we saying Sundowns is still that good, if they're still that good, why can't they convincingly beat certain teams like your Chiefs, your Cape Town, your SuperSport. Why can't they convincingly beat the big teams? They always have to struggle. We saw Rulani even after the press. He didn't want to talk about tactics because now he doesn't know how he got over the line. How did he not? He doesn't know how he got over the line. You know, you look at the way Sundowns was playing. You don't know if they were playing at 4-4-3-3, 4-2-2, 4-3-4. You don't know. That's why sometimes I feel like maybe Rulani is too much into tactics. Maybe he's too many recipes. You know what they say? Too many chefs. I mean, I say too many recipes will spoil something. If it's good, don't. If it's not broken, don't fix it.
So should we be at least a little bit concerned or scared that even this non-dominant Sundowns with glaring weaknesses has yet to lose this season?
Definitely, and that's why I'm saying for us to say Chiefs played well or Patrice, no, guys, we must be honest with ourselves. Chiefs didn't play well. Chiefs have the quality, and that's why I will give it to the management as much as we can fight them for buying the wrong coach. But the management bought the right players. Even this Mteto guy that was bought, the guys have the mentality, they have the hunger. Even the youngsters that are there, they have the hunger, they have the quality. Now we need to coach. The important thing is to coach, because now when you look at how Chiefs are losing because of lack of complacent. When we drew against Sundowns, it was a mediator cross where Nhlanti was supposed to, before mediator was supposed to cross, you need to put pressure on him. He had a free cross. Madau came from the back, from right back. You can even say he came from Gauteng and ran to Pretoria and scored. Nhlanti was still on the ground. So it's those
almost the same goal that Shalulile scored now.
Exactly. It's lapse of concentration. You look at the time of when the goal was scored, start of the game. You look at the time when the goal was scored, at the end of the first half. Those things are it's coachable mistakes. It's things that you say, guys, switch on. So my thing is, yes, Sundowns, because of quality, will take advantage of that. And because they play in Africa, they'll take advantage of that, because that's how you win when you play in the CAF. You take advantage of people's mistakes. So for me, Sundowns side, as much as Sundowns is still a nice team to watch, whatever, I don't think Sundowns is at that level where Pitso left it. I think the structure that Pitso has left there is so good enough, and maybe Rulani is trying to put his own identity, and that's why he's outcasted all the players Pitso has brought in, your Serino, all those players.
About Ahly, all of those guys, yeah.
Maybe he's trying to do that thing. We can give it to him. But clearly, right now, for me, it's not that one. When it comes to Chiefs, I have to say, we need a coach. As much as we can say good things about Ntseki, you'll say good things this week, tomorrow you'll swear at him. Next week you'll say good things, tomorrow you'll swear at him. That's a toxic relationship, Kashoa. That is a toxic relationship. So at some point we need to be firm and say Ntseki in or out. But for me, it's Ntseki out, because the mistakes that we are making are coachable mistakes. Are mistakes that players you at under 10 level, under 12 level, yes, do this. So Ntseki doesn't do that. So for me, Ntseki, I will definitely, Chiefs might have played well, but they didn't play well because of Ntseki. They played well because we have quality. And when I say quality, is you look at players like Motaung, you look at players like Patrice. Those players are quality. And if we have 3 Patrice or 3 Motaung, then there is a different Kaizer Chiefs. You look at, and this thing I said it, I think in a live, Mosimane and Dikotlo is one player. It's one player, guys. And you put 2 of them, you'll always have mistakes. You can't tell me from kickoff, you watch a ball go through the midfield, go through the defense, and go to the keeper. And you guys are open. Come on.
I'm going to come back. Let me bring in Agent 007. Welcome to the show, my brother. I feel like personally, I feel like these teams need to watch the show more often, because everything was broken down and they seem to listen. What are your thoughts about these general thoughts?
They need to hire us for free, man. We'll do these things for free, man.
I don't know about free, but I'm available.
Oh, we want payment.
One payment.
But I'm loving the Chills meltdown. For not for selfish reasons. I do like you guys suffering, but I think so that we can increase the conversation. I think because when Sundowns has bad referee decisions, because we are 57, we don't get that output. When Pirates gets bad decisions, it's not that much because even them, they're not that many. So I'm liking the fact that Chiefs is getting the decisions so that the conversation can be expanded, towards referees, so that we can have a solution, for what do we need to solve so that this refereeing crisis doesn't happen, maybe it can speed up VAR, if Vice President of SAFA, according to you, is feeling pain, I think this is for me that what I want, so that we can hire these officials full time. They don't have to be police officers and part-time referees. This is where I want. And I like the meltdown because I think Chiefs fans started to watch football this season. Because like for me, for me myself, the reason why I'll always feel bad. I'll always feel bad when I benefit against Pirates, and other 15 teams. But Chiefs, never, because let me take you guys.
Your previous coach, Pitso Mosimane, exactly what he said.
Yes, but no, let him say it's okay. I want to teach history 101, that you guys seem to forget that.
Don't come to Northlands. I've seen that video how many times? Guys.
That pain, you see guys, the pain that Butari is suffering from, I've been suffering it for 25 years now. And I like it, and it's not romance, I remember 2001, is it Bob Save Cup? Was it called Bob Save? Yeah, Bob Save Cup. Listen, you have been giving us speakers time. Let me speak. It's not with the coach, it's not fire Masigela again, I can go to 2001 Bob Save Cup, and 90 minutes, 3 minutes added. We are leading 2-1. 3 minutes added. No injuries, no nothing. We play for 8 more minutes so the Chiefs can score another goal. And the funny part is, I think it was Nzama. Is that Nzama? The guy with the big head. Yes, that one. Nzama, I think. On the extra time, last minute, he forced a Sundowns player. No penalty given. Some of us know why Ace Ngobo retired. We know why. Chiefs know why. And we shouldn't forget that 2016, 2017. Pesitao gets fouled by Katsan in the 18 box. No penalty given. We shouldn't forget that Lorenz Godin once scored with the hand of God. We shouldn't forget that also. We shouldn't forget that Castro flicked a ball to Nukovic, and Nukovic scored an offside goal, so that after that game, Peter gives a famous speech that how many times do we need to give benefit of the doubt to Chiefs, Even I'll give benefit of the doubt to Pirates fans, like that's why the penalty. I think it's a penalty, but if they think we benefited, I feel sorry for them, But Chiefs fans, I will never, ever feel sorry for them, This is football heritage, Football heritage, You guys have been benefit all along, and because you're 57, we don't have people to talk about. I saw men be saying referees should be banned. We have been calling for referees to be banned since 1998, So you guys should feel the pain of breathing through the wind. But it's okay. I'll just give him football heritage. Let me go to the game. But this was football heritage.
You giving away your age. You're giving away your age. That's what you're doing.
And it's fine. It's okay. And a sidebar, that ball by Saili, it was out of the ball. It was outside the ball. It was outside the line so that you consider a corner. So I think with the VAR, they should have went banned. It was going to be a throw in. But back to the game, I think we talked about Chiefs' mistakes, the the first 10 minutes they lose concentration. This is the way. This is where you capitalize on them, And Coach Rulani said on the presser there that we know how Chiefs start a game, And for that goal, 3 mistakes happened. The first mistake is, I think, Peter Shalule encroached on the yard, on the center yard, and should have been a replay. But how many times do you see players doing that? So I don't think that is a mistake that I can say it's a big mistake, but it is a mistake, technically speaking. And then we what is it called? You guys pass to the keeper. Now, look anywhere in the world. Anywhere. I want you to look anywhere in the ball. When you pass the ball to the keeper and there's a runner on coming, one of the defenders has to shield that runner.
In the way. Yeah.
So that you give the keeper 2-3 extra seconds. And Udi Koke wanted to do that, then he stepped out. I don't know why he stepped out, because I don't know if you thought he was gonna get a red card or not, but I think it was too early in the game for him to even get a yellow card. The referee was just gonna give a foul, So I think that was stupid of Udi Koke, And then also the third mistake is, as a keeper, basics. When the runner is coming from another direction, you pass the ball back in the opposite direction. You don't pass to where he's running, because he is intercepted. You pass for it away where he's coming, the direction that he's coming from, you pass back there so that he can't stop and accelerate in another direction, So I think those are the 3 mistakes in the Chiefs
But safety
goal.
first. He should have kicked that ball out. The moment you see the runner is here.
The
runner's here. I'd much rather kick it out, or something like that.
Yeah, and like Osenzo is saying, those are questionable mistakes from the goalkeeper coach. That what, first safety first, always, and if Rulani can see that this is how Chiefs start the game of play, because that's what he said. You saw that he says he knows how Chiefs start a game. He didn't say I know how Chiefs start a game generally. He says when they first pass, they give to the keeper. If Rulani could see that, what are Chiefs analysts doing? And then take and shape, because those are mistakes you can be avoided, And going to the second goal by Sundowns, Otlandi gets injured, right? Okay, maybe I'm being harsh on Ntseki. I can understand the rationale, but the school of thought is Otlandi gets injured, in such a high pressure game where you can't afford mistakes. Immediately take him out, because you could see him taking back, he was laboring. I don't think it's a similar incident to the one that we scored in FNB. It was a different incident because this time around he was genuinely injured, It wasn't the case of ball watching. He saw the man, there was nothing he could do, but then I understand what Ntseki was saying. Was thinking that maybe you're about to approach the second half, the half time, and I can make substitution at halftime time, But can you do that as a coach in such kind of game, And again, also in Chiefs, I don't get it. You saw during the first game that Udupri and Opatano was in trouble, And even worse today, Sundowns has a make-up left back, So why are you putting Udupri in the center? Why not put him to the side? Put him there. Put Modi in the center. It doesn't matter. Put Modi in the center and run with Opatane and Umodi. The reason why Sundowns enjoyed a lot of possession was Umodi is not pressing Grant that much. So I think that was the Chiefs' mistake also. And going to Sundowns lastly, because I had a meltdown in the beginning and took a lot of my time, but maybe this is what we need at Sundowns, maybe we know how to, we need, like we say, I didn't like it during the Paris game, and still didn't like it against Chiefs fans. Chiefs game, I don't like squeezing my something, because it's not nice, it gets sweaty and smells down there also, so it's not nice to squeeze things there, so maybe that's what we need in Africa, because we've been trying to win Africa using pretty football, maybe we need to win, maybe that's what we need, ugly play, fouling. This is a typical North African team, if you can see it, fouling, all these dark art tactics, this is a typical, and North African teams, it's not that they're not technically good, they're technically good just like Sundowns, but they've perfected the dark arts. So maybe that's what we need. And I think this system is not any. Maybe if it was the Zwane of 4 or 5 years back, it could work. But I don't think it can work on the Zwane of now who's old, because you are making him a false nine. You are making him to run and pass and hold the ball.
Isn't that also confusing it, because you're not giving Zwane the ball, number one. Allende now gets the ball, but also you're playing him false nine with Shalulile on the pitch. So now that false nine and Ribeiro. So that false nine is confused. I think the Zwane is confused.
Yes, that is confused, and the reason why the reason why Zwane is not playing much is because he doesn't know, should I drop in, should I drop in, when should I stay there, and the reason why Allende is getting the ball is because there's no Zwane in the midfield, and the reason why you're not dominant, okay, Allende is quick, he's single good, but he's not a Zwane, when Zwane has the ball, he has 3-4 players marking him, and he can easily turn, so I think this is the part of the chameleon, which is, I think, if he can put someone there except Zwane, whoever is playing with Allende, is it Mbule, is it Maema, as a false nine, and drop Zwane there, then we're going to be more dominant again, Yeah, and I think that's it with Sundowns, and lastly, to
here we go.
To the giant, I can't see him. Was it Lloyd? Whoever it was, who says the ball was not out? I can give benefit of the doubt to Pirates if the ball was out, but not Chiefs. With Chiefs, it was out.
Man. Hey, you guys. Dana, I want to come to you very quickly on Sundowns before I let in the next panel. On Sundowns, again, we're finding a team that can't defend a transition. Their fouls are very high, and it seems as though if you do press them, they do put themselves into some tough situations. Is this something that is on purpose by Sundowns, or is this a blind spot, Rulani? Because you can't be ending matches with more than 15 fouls every single match, and also every time you're pressed, you get into tough situations.
Well spoken. Every team has their own weaknesses, ne? But now no one is taking full advantage of my weaknesses and my mistakes caused by Sundowns. All my teams, except I'm gonna count one my teams, whenever they play with Sundowns, they are not taking advantage of slow defensive Sundowns slow and the fouls that they commit. No one is taking advantage of that. But Mokwena is taking advantage of my mistakes from my teams. But whenever my team better than Sundowns, I don't know, there's that fear, but the way we better than a corner, they are my mistake. Like the way we're playing against the Chiefs and the Pirates. Rulani Williams, yes, against the Pirates, he was supposed to get a red card. That was a red card offense, straight red, yeah. So the way back and again against Kaizer Chiefs again, he did the same thing. Rulani Williams, head the ball If I think it was Upotsani who was closer again. If now Zamir who committed up and was the ball, and then that's when any conversation about Rulani Williams getting sent off because of the way sometimes they are committing mistakes, but no one is capitalizing on their mistakes. They keep on getting away now my mistake up, and they keep on beating one team. So it's one of those things. Go to Mokwena. I feel like he's not aware of the mistake. I think because of Unale Ontole is smart because of he's a top coach. I think he's not aware. With the team at the back, they are cracking, and it's about times with Bazotoli team. Maybe when a Toli team go cap final or go cap Super League, what will happen? Because it seems like it's Sundowns is at the back. They are still shaky, but they are not making costly mistakes in the Chiefs. That's the difference.
But then why then as molefi ntseki? And I said this. I believe it was the match we played versus Sundowns where AB was it the first game that we played against them. Why then, if we can see it, why not target these defenders? If you know AB Kimbobo, he's got a yellow card, why not attack him to get him into trouble? If you know that Sundowns has 20 fouls all across, why not try focus those fouls on a player so that the ref has to jump in? Why then, when we have these advantages, do these coaches not take advantage? Or not, is it a tactics thing or by understanding? I don't get it.
You know, one thing that my fans we need to understand ukuthi umlefi ntseki atazwane no Dylan Shepherd bayabheda when it comes to reading the game. Abakwazi ukureada igame. Bayabheda like they all bacabanga ngendlela eyi-one bonke ukuthi I'm gonna make a sub now and the sub izongena maybe yokora. They don't focus on smaller detail like AB was imbobo lapha. They were supposed to overload the last side like AB and put him under pressure ukuthi a commit to foul maybe angathola red card or commit ama foul and so banama set piece. And another thing that I have a problem ngayo nge-Kaizer Chiefs. The Kaizer Chiefs they are no longer taking advantage of my set pieces. Remember the time of Mashamayi, we know with 3 or 4 corners it's gonna be a goal for the Kaizer Chiefs. But now it seems like you corner we are just siyashaya because of it's a corner. That's why Ribeiro managed to score because of from that corner Kaizer Chiefs bavele bashanje corner and they lost the focus and the Sundowns managed to take advantage of luck and they bent the counter attack and Bakora a goal is true. So it's one of those things which I'm worried about the technical team and I'm gonna agree no sense when it say which it teams really need a coach that is gonna understand the game, that is gonna help the players. So Mlefi is there just to coach and be a motivational speaker. He's not helping his players. He should be training my players like a training to know what guys. You should take advantage of my set pieces, my corners. You should score here. I'm gonna my corners over 5 and there's not ankor no kora like against Sundowns. Like you can see well Uguti, ama defenders wabo they are shaky when it comes to marking. But we are not even scoring one goal from a corner. What does this say as a coach? And it shows that as a coach now poor when it comes to reading the game, you are poor. So it's one of those things that I'm worried to each Kaizer Chiefs. How can you appoint to Kevin Johnson as the head of academy? That coach was supposed to be assistant coach there and get rid of Dylan Shepherd. Get rid of someone there. Add someone with experience because experience counts here. You can clearly see Mokwena. Ama teams amaning uwashanga experience and Kaizer Chiefs ushang experience. As much as we can say Kaizer Chiefs, yeah, they are the only team that seems like they can play well against Sundowns, but they can't win against Sundowns. That's the problem. If you can play well against Sundowns, then you have to beat the Sundowns. But if you can't beat the Sundowns, that means the Sundowns are doing something when a Leon hours we end. So which is scoring. So Chiefs now they need to address some of the issues, which is the scoring. You need to, as a coach, man, hire a striking coach, man. Tell us someone there who's gonna be there as coach abo Gonzalez and abo Ranga more advanced. See what Sundowns is doing. So it's one of those things that I'm not happy about Kaizer Chiefs because now already we have lost four matches in all competition. 3 losses in league, 1 loss to MTN. What does this say as a coach? Already the stats are similar when it comes to Atazwane and Mlefi because during this stage of the season last season, Atazwane already had almost 5 losses here. So it shows what Ipoleli won. As much as we can praise players, yes, Chiefs they do have quality. But if Mlefi and it doesn't get some result, then equality yabo Modi, yabo Mposane, yabo Castillo, it's gonna drop. It's gonna drop due to the confidence of our losses. Yes.
Okay. Butlari, you know, I liked something that Rulani said in his press conference. He said, if you look at how Chiefs started the ball in game 1 versus how Chiefs started the ball here, we knew and we had a plan for it, right? Why is it that, and you know, you've been watching the show, I've been screaming, for example, about the AB thing. Why is it that at Chiefs, they can't go, you know what, this was a weakness that we saw from Sundowns last time. Let's exploit that weakness. But also, now they're doing very well exploiting that weakness, winning balls, forcing errors from Sundowns, right? And then he decides to change the whole thing. What is it about our coaches versus Sundowns? But also, I want you to speak about this transition thing. Sundowns can't mark transition in defense, and they foul a lot. But no teams are taking advantage of that.
Look, I'll first answer Hussein, and then I'll come back to that. Hussein said something that... Guys, time. I want to beg to differ with Hussein. I think the chameleon is working when it comes to Sundowns. Sundowns was losing games. Sundowns of Pitso was not winning clear games. But this Sundowns looks like it's not doing the job But look, 27 games, 21 points. So it tells you that the chameleon is coming up right, and there is something that Rulani is doing right. He doesn't care how he plays. He wants to play good, but if you can't play good, let's win ugly. That's for me, yeah. So, but I think when it comes to Sundowns, I think our coaches, I don't know what they think, because those things are easy. If UAB, you put pressure on him, and the Sundowns is pressing very high, you have fast players like Mduduzi. Put Dupree close to UAB. Make Dupree run behind the shoulder of UAB. Make sure that it's coming from central but running wide. Make sure that when Castillo has the ball, he knows Dupree will cut in from inside, running in wide to where UAB is. Force AB to make fouls. AB will get red cards, will do carelessly attack those guys. There is something that I love about Sundowns is even though our teams are not taking advantage of that, but it's because Sundowns is doing something. Sundowns is able to say, when we lose the ball, when the other team is in transition, when the drop in, become a sweeper, allow one of the defenders to go assist to AB. Maybe that is why we can get clear cut chances, we can take advantage of the entire situation. But as a coach, if Dupree is making AB or Ulivusa do technical fouls, then stick to that. Don't change it. Why change a winning strategy? Rather, for me, I would say, rather introduce a player, if Udoli was there, who is a good passer of the ball, that you guarantee Uzomtola Dupree on AB side. Uzomtola on the other side. And then inside, you get that player. Don't change the pressing team. Don't change the team that is giving to the team also. So, but when you look at it in nature, our teams are not. I don't know if the type of coaching is not good enough, or the player can take instructions. I don't know, because if you hear Untiki talking, it says at halftime, I said to my players, try to circulate the ball more. But we didn't see circulation of the ball. Why is the problem? Our players not comfortable on the ball, or Sundowns is playing better than us when they don't have the ball. Because Rulani emphasized on we need to be good without the ball. And when you look at Chiefs, without the ball they are not good. When Sundowns, when it comes to transitions, they can't defend for heaven's sake. They press high. When you get the ball, they can't run with Kaizer Chiefs. Let's be honest, Sundowns can't run with Kaizer Chiefs to save their life. Earlier on, I put an example with Ilo. The pass of Umatro trying to get to Dupree. Sundowns was fine one thing there. If the ball didn't hit Dupree's leg, Sundowns was found one thing. That's it. Because they can't defend it. But I don't know, our coaches are not able to say, Dupree, when I don't come back and defend. Because we are faster. If you don't come back and defend, it will force UAB not to be progressive. Because one thing which you don't talk about, UAB is very progressive. You sometimes find him in the box, you don't know how he got there. Most especially if it's a team that plays a low block. But if you have to sitting, you're forcing Sundowns to have a flat four. And when Sundowns has a flat four, they don't have numerical advantage. I don't know, our coaches, why don't they say that? Because they know AB can run with the breeze. They have to say Libusa don't come back and be a sweeper. Libusa will go assist to AB. And then we have flat four. Sundowns will play with a flat four. They don't have numerical advantage. You guys have numerical advantage defending. On transition, they can't catch you. But I don't know what to do. They can't respect him.
Let me bring in Senzo, again, questions and answers, you know. Utso Vilagazi always says, football is a game of questions and answers. And the one distinguishing feature that makes Sundowns different from other teams in the league is that when there's questions, they answer. When they see something, they change it, they adapt. Whereas with some of our coaches in the PSL, including ntseki, you know, how many times are you going to see the same look? I mean, now we've seen enough that Sundowns fouls a lot because when they're caught in transition, They've committed so many players forward that they need to foul in order for something to happen. We've seen that either Mvala got a yellow card previously. AB's gotten yellow cards versus Kaizer Chiefs in these games. They're not targeting those guys. We've seen Abakutsia get put into tight positions and get a red card. We've seen Pirates come versus Sundowns and put Abba Williams in tough situations. Why is it that our coaches are not taking advantage of those type of things? And are we letting our coaches off the hook by saying, Sundowns chameleon? It's their job to figure these things out. Why aren't they doing this? If we can see it.
Exactly. I feel like the tag, Mabati professional, you should be thinking way further than us, the commoners, the people that don't have the doctorate or the experience behind it. So that's a very good question. I feel like that's a question that should be posed for PSL coaches. What is stopping you from taking advantage? Because besides quality, I can understand if you're saying I lack the quality, but there are teams that have the quality. Your Pirates, your Super Sport, your Kaizer Chiefs, even your Cape Town City, they have the quality players to put the knife through Orlando Pirates. I'm not Orlando Pirates, but Sundowns. I still don't know, but I think it also comes to a mentality thing. You know, when they say you're playing Man City next week, already it's a big game. I think you've also played football. You know, when you're playing your rivals, it's already when you're playing the best team in the league, it's already a thing. It's a mental thing. So if you don't have someone who's mentally strong, a coach who's mentally strong to also guide you and help you, because you look at a coach like Mourinho. Mourinho might not have had the best teams, but mentally he had one of the best teams ever, and that's why they could beat any team. They beat with Inter Milan, and I don't think people will even remember the starting 11, Inter Milan, when they beat Barcelona. But it's because the mentality was there. You look at Liverpool when they came back from AC Milan, the mentality was there. You need the mentality to play in these games. And if your coach isn't used to that pressure, isn't used to the experience, Rulani suffered last year in the CAF for the lack of experience and got punished, you know. So you've seen it with Rulani this season. He wants to finish games early. He doesn't want to finish second. He's learning. Exactly. So you have someone like Ntseki, you can't expect him to learn and to take advantage. But if you look at the games against Chiefs, you look at the statistics, even if you put the statistics of the game, the full game, Chiefs had a lot of chances. What's his name? Patrice could have had a hat-trick. He could have had a hat trick. And that's when I say some things are coachable. You need to teach someone when you're in a scenario where you're attacking and you're alone. Calm down. Dribble past the keeper or score, but make a decision. Don't run and think when you have the ball. Think before you take the run. You know, you have a place where Patrice came from nowhere, contacted with the ball. Yes, you hit the ball, but it's not about contact. It's about where you contact the ball, like hitting the bottom left corner, but you can't hit the ball and hit it straight back to the keeper. You know, if the decision of the penalty changed, it would have been 2-2 and Chiefs would have been in the final. It's those things that we're saying is that it's coachable mistakes. It's mistakes when we're going to the training tomorrow. We first look through the video and then you say, okay, let's rework. Let's re-look at those things that we are going through. What didn't we do? What were we supposed to do? That's how you teach someone. You teach someone by making them repeat before. Then it will naturally come. There's players that you don't need to teach. There's players that you don't need to coach. There's players that have natural touch. But unfortunately for me right now at Chiefs, I don't see any player who doesn't need to be coached. I don't see a player that naturally can do magic. I don't see that. You have your Tembazwane. Tembazwane is a very difficult player to coach because you can't tell Tembazwane what to do. Tembazwane will show you how to do it. Then you tell the team how to play around Tembazwane, how to understand and know Tembazwane. So it's those things. You need to know your team. You have a player like Shabalala who's dynamic, very dynamic player, very young player, very eager, very hungry. Put him in the starting lineup. Put him in the starting lineup. Let him tire out Sundowns. Let him make Sundowns a thing, and then maybe be collective at the end and finish have a strategy how you want to thingy. I watch a lot of boxing and MMA, and when you watch the top quality fighters and the best boxers, they have a strategy. Yes, fighting might look like a very gruesome sport. It might look like a very rough sport and uncoordinated. but you need to have a strategy, even if you are beating the strongest, even if you are beating the weakest. Because even in soccer, I think we've watched soccer all of us. In soccer, even the weakest team next can beat you in the final. It can beat you in the league. So that's what I feel like was happening on Saturday, is that the ancestors of Sundowns, of Chiefs, wanted Chiefs to win, but unfortunately the ref was on the other team, so that's why it didn't work out. But to be honest, we, as much as we can say this, the problem is where our coach is sitting. And regardless if we can buy 17 Tetwas, 20 Duprees, if there is no one to coach these people, we are still going to have the same conversation next week.
Okay. Agent 007, I want to come to you. Again, over the past few weeks, and I ask certain questions on purpose because I want us to get away from just saying, oh, Sundowns is good. It's an easy answer, right? It's an easy answer to just say, hey, Chiefs is very good. Hey, Man City is very good. How must we beat them? And I want us to think about those things. You and I have been sitting here, especially me and you, we've been sitting here talking about the same 3-4 weaknesses that Sundowns has, right? And even Rulani alluded to the fact that finally it seems as though they understood that you attacked them on the left-hand side. Why then do our coaches, why aren't our coaches able to see that in general in the league? And I always give Rulani credit that, you know what, ne? He's learning, he's growing, he makes mistakes, he changes, he learns, he goes. You get what I mean? Like there's a growth that comes from Rulani. If you've been watching the Sundowns games, he even admitted himself that he had some mistakes that he made earlier. Why is it that the other teams don't see these things? They don't take advantage, they don't try, they don't push on the weaknesses. What is it that this is? And the reason also why I'm asking is, I understand when we're playing versus Sundowns, great, we speak about tactics. But when you look at the greater league, there's a reason why Sundowns is 16 points ahead of number 2 at the end of the season. And everybody else, Rashapan. Why? What's happening?
Coach Jose said something in his press conference that, I think 2 things. He said something in Coach Jose said something which are very true. Let me start with Coach Jose. Coach Jose said Sundowns is pretty much an European team, and he said, I'm paraphrasing, that it's up to you journalists to question the standard of others. So that's the true statement. Or like, okay, fine, you have Sundowns is there, yes, okay, fine, cool. But Sundowns has only 6 points. It's not like Sundowns will take 10 points from you. They will only take 6 points from you. And it's not like I don't think it even be against Chiefs. I don't think we can win against Chiefs. So I think Sundowns can take 4 points from Chiefs. I think Pirates can come to Atkinsville and win or draw. So I think can take 4 points from Sundowns. So let's say worst case scenario, Sundowns take 6 points from you. What are you doing with the rest of the points? Okay, fine. Let's say fine, sure. It's okay, fine. Sundowns is taking 6 points from Chiefs. From Chiefs. And from Pirates, and Chiefs is taking 6 points from Pirates, which is unlikely. So you have 12 points there. What are you doing with the other points?
And
same as Chiefs.
Growth? Are you sure? I think my problem is that I remember Siema. I think it was Siema who came out and said it's like I'm watching a PlayStation, and I think it was a white coach. It was a white coach. There was a white coach, and Siema said something similar. And in my head, I was sitting there thinking, but this is your job. When you listen to Rulani's press conferences, he's breaking down what your team does. He even does it pre and then even does it post. He'll even himself, he'll be like, oh, they tried this, and he'll explain to you. But when you listen to our coaches and you watch some of the games, Ntseki had a winning tactic and decided to change it.
I think it's also, like I said, Rulani is now a big boy. He's learning. He has also mastered the art, that Pitso Mosimane art of mind games. So he's telling you, I think Chiefs is going to attack him on the left side. So what you do is I know Sundowns is planning that Udupri is going to be attacking on the left side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the bridge through the middle. So you are changing your plan to preempt Sundowns' plan, And you said something very interesting. If I go to the tactics of stuff, you said only Sundowns coaches don't get sleep, because of Sundowns dominance. Other teams are relaxed, And you also said there's nothing wrong with Rulani matching Pep, And I can add to that and say to you, what are other coaches mimicking? If there's a team called Atletico, I support Atletico Madrid, they have won leagues against peak Guardiola teams, peak Real Madrid teams, What were they doing? Who is sitting down and saying, let me understudy Diego Simeone?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who is sitting down and saying, okay, fine, I'm a big team, I don't want to defend, but if I can't defend, I can learn the German press from Klopp. Who's saying, I want to be an understudy of Klopp? Because we saw Klopp would go toe for toe with Man City. That season when they was at 94 points. What is wrong with coaches? Like, who is your understudy? Everyone needs a mentor. I have my own mentor. So who are these guys being mentored by? And what are they learning from their mentees to stop a Man City? Because if a person can stop a Man City,
I see the mentors.
Yeah.
YouTube is there. The highlights, you can watch the EPL as much as you want. You can pick a team and watch them to your heart's content. But it doesn't seem as though these coaches take it to that level. Sometimes the answer isn't in quality. Sometimes it's frustration. Sometimes it's a certain way you approach the game. Ntseki has been good in some patches with Sundowns. But it's like, why is it that other coaches don't have that in them?
Yeah, and that's the thing, like we're saying, even if you don't have a mentor, you saw Pirates give Sundowns problems, you saw Chiefs giving Sundowns problems. How can you watch those games and say, okay, fine, I think this is what 2-3 they did, I can apply that also? If there's a team that Sundowns strikers against beside Chiefs, it's Cape Town City. Who is watching Cape Town City versus Sundowns games? Who is watching Stellenbosch last season game and this season game and say, this is how Sundowns striked and lost that game? So for me, I think it's pure laziness. You cannot analyze Sundowns past 3-4 games. It's not necessary for you to analyze our game against Polokwane City. What is necessary is look at those games Sundowns struggled in and say, what can we do to improve that? And again, if, like, what was it Senzo was saying, if a layman like me and you can see how to beat Sundowns, what are the analysts doing? People who have UEFA, KEF, what A license, pro license, whatever. What are they doing to the football game? I think it talks also to the quality. And I was having a conversation on the comment with someone who said Chiefs need a fitness coach, and I said, but Chiefs are a fitness coach. That guy said, no, that guy's a bodybuilder. Football has evolved also. That what, fitness coaches aren't just coaches. Aren't just bodybuilders or not. They're also coaches with licenses. We talk of conditioning. Those sometimes when you are tired, especially not in the first few minutes, but in the last 5 minutes and last 5 minutes of the second half, is not the reason why you are tired mentally is because you are tired physically. It goes back to the conditioning of players. So I think we can talk about Sundowns all day and talk about Marco Zwani, Butili is slow, what is slow, who is slow, but what are the teams doing to exploit that? And come up with a solid structure to do that, Okay. And lastly, the last point that I wanted to make is, I don't get it. Williams, I just want to talk about one player. We can talk about other players that I think people are ignoring him. Williams has a mistake in him. He's a good passer of the ball. Sure, no one is doubting that, but they're not pressing him. Press Williams. Force him to make the pass that he wants to make.
Of the season. Remember we had this conversation?
Yeah. Yes. Press Williams. Make him to pass, because the thinking is, if you press Williams, you're exposing yourself. But the thinking again can say, but if I'm pressing Williams, yes, 1 or 2 balls are going to get through. I can have to prepare for that. I can make sure that my center backs are well organized. I'm playing a flat line, whatever it is. I can counteract that. But let me press Williams. One or two of the passes are going to be haywire, and I must capitalize on them. But Chiefs, other teams are not pressing Williams. They would rather press Mokwena and Busa. And the mistake they're making is they want to press Okotie. Okotie is slow, yes, but he's good technically. So you want to press players who are not good technically, who you can force mistakes from. That is Williams and not Mokwena, I mean Umval. Those are the players that you force the ball to go to. You set pressing patterns. You don't have to press everyone at the same time. You say, okay, fine, if the ball is going to Williams, we press. If the ball is going to Umval, we press. What is so difficult about that, guys? Maybe when bringing Chiefs fans, tell us what is wrong with beating Sundowns, because this Sundowns team is up for the taking. Everyone can see it. Yeah.
Okay. No, thank you, brother. We're gonna move on to the next panel. Let's see. Who was here? Oh, Sandile's off. So then we're gonna go to Ernest, and then we're gonna go to idiski, and I'll let you Theo in because you've also been here. Sinjay, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Hey, Bob, I'm alright. George, how are you?
I'm good. I'm gonna ask you two things in one.
Yes.
Can you give me your general thoughts, number one? And then I want to speak about Chiefs. Another game, another situation where the substitutes come onto the pitch and it seems as though they haven't been prepared. They're not prepared. They don't know what they're meant to be doing on the pitch. Tell me, what do you think of those general thoughts? And then tell me, what are your thoughts around these substitutions we make?
Firstly, my general thoughts is that, okay, look, one, Chiefs came into this match with a clear plan. And I think the plan would have worked had it not been for poor officiating. And this is a second match now where we are going to hear the review board suspending a referee and the technical team again. This is going to be the second time. And we must not take that lightly.
Yeah.
Because Sundowns won 2-1 first match, and both the referee and the entire the assistants were suspended by SAFA after reviewing that they actually made a lot of blunders that had influenced that outcome. Unfortunately, the Sundowns get the 3 points and the referee get suspended, and Chiefs gets nothing. And this is a second match that this is going to actually take place. And I know a lot of people are complaining about the penalties, let alone the penalties. The fact that Salulile made a run within the center circle, and George Matlow pointed that out together with what's this guy's name? Lekau, yes. Both him and George pointed that out to the referee, and the ref kept quiet. And the referee actually looked at them, and George is like, listen, the person is running here. Look at him before he even made the run. He's inside the center circle, and the referee kept quiet. And I think that on its own is going to get the guy into trouble, because you cannot say I did not see it, because they're going to say, but the player is showing you. You are looking at it directly, and you kept quiet. And I think for me that on its own either is going to get him. Even Mokwena pulling Castillo's arm.
Castillo,
Yes, the linesman is right there. He is watching it, and I don't think they're going to come up with answers as to why didn't you not raise your flag or go to the corner flag and surround it to indicate a penalty. They need to give those explanations, because, and I feel a suspension is coming. Mark my words.
Okay.
And I don't mind the entire penalties and stuff. Yes, the refs are going to make mistakes. They are human beings. But there are certain things, but this is right in front of you. That's for me, it is really, really, I'm not sad about it, but I'm like, okay, listen, okay, fine. That's how they won. I'm over it. I don't think, to answer your second question, I don't think the substitutions for me didn't do their job. I think when Siley came in, he created a chance. Unfortunately, what's this guy's name? Patrice did not finish it. He did make an impact. Shabalala came in. He made an impact. He created spark. He created movement. You could see half chances. He went into the box. So I think they did. For me, they did. They came in and did what they wanted to do. Dover also came in, and you could see that there's a change. That there's a change in the left-hand side of our defense. I can't blame Peterson for that goal. I really, really can't blame him. Yes, he could have kicked the ball out, but I also I don't think in their training they could anticipate a run from within the center circle. That is not a violation of the rules for him to be able to be in a position whereby he could not clear the ball. Maybe that's something that they're going to have to look at as a technical team. That let's put Patrice as the PCS player in the PSL. Have him be the one that plays against to chase the ball, so that he's comfortable with someone coming speedily to him. Because seemingly that's how.
But aren't these things
the goal came about?
Aren't these things meant to be coached? Because there was a similar incident with Sundowns where a ball was played through, and I forgot who it was. I don't know if it was Umbule or one of the defenders. Just shielded just shielded. I think I'm more shocked that somebody could run from the halfway line. When I run from the halfway line all the way to the goalkeeper, and not one Chiefs player. Like, for me, it's basic. As somebody who's played defense.
Yeah, look, I hear you, but when I looked at the video, and I looked at, first of all, Solina went around George. He went around him into the center circle. And that's when George was pointing it out to the referee. But before the ball is kicked, look where he is. And Tikluka as well is actually looking at the referee. You could see when Peter Salulile is running, he is looking at the referee, also amazed that, are you seriously going to keep quiet? And I think I would have done the same thing. I would have not blocked Salulile.
But about to play to the whistle. I get about to play to the whistle.
Yeah, but there are certain things that. Yeah, I understand. But me, I would not play to the whistle. I would look at the referee and like, seriously, you're going to keep quiet while you are watching him running from inside the center circle. Are you really? So that the world must see you, that you are here to ensure that Sundowns win. We need to expose this referee. If I was Peterson, I would have actually sat down and watched Charlie goal, because we need to expose these referees. Once they make that decision, you need to expose them. Let your will be done. Seemingly, you have already made a decision on who's going to win. Fine, let's continue.
Okay. No, you know what? I'm just somebody who, at this point, especially with this season with the refereeing, the way I look at it is like, all right, guys, it's going to catch people. At some point, it's going to catch others. Ernest, welcome to the show. How are you?
Good, and you? How are you, sir?
No, I'm okay. Ernest, tell me, I've got the two questions. What are your general thoughts about the game? And then, secondly, on Chiefs' side, it seems as though Chiefs make substitutions for substitution's sake. What did you say to that?
Okay, one thing that I can say is there were two things that you should have learned from that game. And one, it was the exposing. I think, let me say, Rulani has exposed himself as power hungry.
Okay.
Somebody who doesn't think, but think for himself. It was a simple game for Sundowns, that game, to be honest. I can hear people, they will say, the first goal was not supposed to be a goal. That was a 4-0 game, a standard 4-0 game for Sundowns, not to win, having a mistake whereby even a person forces a penalty and you assume to be a penalty. If we are not careful with what we're wishing, VAR will come, and I believe it will be the time that the Kaizer Chiefs will be relegated. Because let's go back last year. How many ratio of benefit did Chiefs on? Yes, 3 penalties in one game. Do you think really? I think man of the match of that game of weekend, it was supposed to be a referee. For heaven's sake, sometimes the Chiefs, let us be honest, they don't deserve to be on the final, guys. Let's be honest, they don't look as a team we are degrading the South African standard football by allowing Chiefs to win, and complain. One day we will get there. Believe you me, Chiefs will be relegated. Motaung family will suffer. Let's wish and keep on wishing. Sundowns, I think it was 2011, before Pitso came in. We lost on final. And it was against Celtic with goal line technology. Do you still remember that game? That goal? The keeper hold the ball before, and it was 1-0. It was one of the painful loss Sundowns did suffer. I think it was, but we never complained. Pitso came in, he built a team, he built that machine. What you don't see is Rulani is about to destroy that machine. Why? Because on that game, you can come with 3 footballers on the middle and move Ahly on the left-hand side and hoping for a solution. That game, you put a wing, you put Mokwena, you close with centre back, and it was a blessing that the favorite Mbala was not in the game because it was supposed to be 9 penalty for Chiefs, as you'd like again. Then Kekan, it's a South African centre back, Bafetu. Standard thing. Kekan on the 5, 4 Rikazu. Then you've got Patrice was the man of the match. By the way, I can hear people, they are crazy and say the guy is the weakest link. The guy is one of the defense that understand South African and you need to analyze the guy. The movement and the foul that he commits and everything that he commits. It's a saving tackle. That yellow card that he got, it was a goal. It was a goal. But because he had to sacrifice himself for the love of the game, he read it. There was no one at the back. Then he had to commit a foul. That's how you need to do a professional foul. Don't do a professional foul inside of the box and hope for nothing.
So I think, Ernest, my question then becomes, and the reason why I singled out AB is that it's not the first time this has happened versus Chiefs. And my question to ntseki becomes, you know that guy is a weakness. You know you've exploited it a few times. Why don't you carry on exploiting it? What is it with our coaches that they don't see the patterns of the game?
Let's talk about honest. It's not about our coaches, though. They don't see the pattern of the game. You can go even on that game with stats. It will say 47, 57. But go and watch the game again. I'm telling you, still Sundowns, it's over 75% compared to Chiefs. It's only the movements that the Chiefs did have on these games were slower than the previous game. At home, the team plays 1-1 with a defensive pattern. Then away, what do you expect? As a Rulani, attack. You score 5 minutes on the game. Then you said you had a plan to press. You won with the pressing. You saw that your formation now is not the one that you need to use. Substitute before 30 minutes. Before 30 minutes, Mbule has already committed 10 errors on that game. Losing the ball, giving Chiefs position. The 40% is through Mbule. Then, Marabafetu, let's be fair, Bafetu.
But then it didn't take advantage. That's what I'm saying. I think the problem is that you see it, I see it, people see it. When I'm on live during the games, we speak about it. And then I ask myself, are you going to allow Mbule to, quote unquote, stay on the pitch up until a point where Rulani sees it and takes him out? Or are you going to take advantage? You know, same with AB. AB last time, same thing happened. He got a yellow very early because Dupree was moving him out. And instead of taking advantage, Chiefs waited up until Rulani saw it and Rulani took him out. Same with this match. What you're talking about now with the professional fouls, there's maybe 2 or 3 other chances where they could have done it. And I'm saying, oh, but guys, our coaches, Khanti, don't you guys see these things and take advantage? And then later on, you know, Rulani even said it himself in a previous match that I've made a lot of mistakes. And luckily,
I'm lost. Are you still there?
I think he has a technical issue.
I'm here.
No, we're also here. It's just Mr.
Okay.
Yeah, we also here. I think
Okay.
OT just has a
Let me
technical
just
issue as well.
conclude. One day.
I think we ran out of data, guys. Can someone buy data for Obu George,
No.
please?
Let's continue, and then while we wait for him, this is what Chisan.
But to conclude, Abafethu, I'm going to say one thing. Rulani, one day the luck will fall. And Sundowns nice as well. Coaching and Ball. It's overthinking the simple thing. Overthinking the simplest thing. Ningaqhubeka Abafethu. Simple le nto leyo Sundowns bekifowunile first 20 minutes.
It's I'm being a little much. I would tell me, Mr. Ernest Yakoka, but we need to understand this was a cup final. I mean, this was a semi-cup. Final, finally Chiefs, but for Sundowns, they just needed to go ahead and just draw or win the game. That means we had to take the game to them, not the other way around. Rulani, I know for most people it's on quite Lentole. Guys, as much as we can have chances in the game, if we do not capitalize, we can't come and say we had chances. Yeah, well, I would say we in Oh, he's back.
Can you guys hear me?
OT.
Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. Can you guys hear me?
Nah, my emotions, they go in your head.
Aye. No way, guys, no way.
But one thing that I can say, Rulani, one day the luck and a leon, it will run.
Okay.
And Sundowns will feel shit because I think he's making a lot of mistake and he doesn't know the game to kill. Yes, we were there at the stadium, Cafe's Leg. We celebrate the 1-0 because of our goal. Chiefs must come off and come hard this time. Then you don't expect Chiefs to come slow this time. You expect Chiefs to come running at you. Then you kill them. You've got a goal, 1 minute. What does it say? Then hold the ball. Attack Chiefs. Keep on attacking in He is dead.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that I can say. Thapelo Morena was a missing link. Masego was a missing link in the first half. Chiefs were been talking 4-0 for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And I don't think, if you can prove me, go on 31 wins Rulani. Go and check that record. Rulani doesn't win the 5-0, 4-0. He wins Gankoting, he sees unless home is and I'm a Sundowns fan. And I won and believe you me. And I know when normally the Sundowns fan on a low valley air. I understand what Rulani was now.
And it won I give him his props. Because for me, I always say the same thing here when people ask me about Sundowns. I can't expect Sundowns to stop buying quality. I can't expect Rulani to stop getting better. They would be asking Sundowns to do me a favor. I can only ask of my own team and the other teams in the league to say, oh, Mara guys, what exactly are you guys doing? You know, what are you doing? If you go onto Rulani's Twitter right now, look at the things he's retweeting. It means that this man, at the very least, he's researching, he's watching things, he's doing all of that stuff. But then Barona,
Bafethu Rulani wa ibolaya Sundowns. And one day,
I'm gonna come back. Theo, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm great, Mr. OT. Hey, Ernest is
I've got the same two questions for you. What are your general thoughts about this game? And then also, as somebody who watches Chiefs, it feels like we're just changing for change's sake. And the players come on and, they don't know what they're doing. Dudes on the wing, we don't change shape or formation. What do you think of that?
It's like you are taking them to a swimming pool, but boots. Imagine that. Yeah, but to greet you, Mr. OT. For me, I think overall the game was very interesting. On the Chiefs side, was very, very interesting. But also, you know, I feel like this is showing we have quality. We have quality. Just that we need someone who doesn't just understand football, but someone who understands tactics and analyzes the game while it's playing. For me, and I know a lot of people are gonna be angry at this. I think we could have. That was a penalty without a shadow of a doubt. But guys, we must not forget that we are playing against a team that didn't just need to score. They just needed to keep us on a nil-nil draw, and then they go through. That means we had to take the game to them. So we must not talk as if Ngati Sundowns now Yabona needed to be the one that they win. We had to take the game to Sundowns. We had to force them to make mistakes. We had to make them, like Bababe outnumbered and all of that. For an example, exactly your point. You have Mbule, he was not just making mistakes. Mbule was nowhere to be seen. Like, he was careless in every pass, in every move. Now you have a coach in the bench. Matlo had a great game simply because Mbule was poor on that day. But for me, and I know people are going to get angry at this, you have Shabalala, who is quick. He can score. He can take shots on target. He can create goals, I understand. For me, what I'm thinking is, okay, second half, Coach, we're not trying to it's like Ngati, it's like we're the ones that we're winning. We just had to make Sundowns not score. You understand? As we always say, you cannot play with 7 defenders and expect to win the game, guys. It's impossible. Common sense. These people are running up to Patrice, but they are running. Who's going to pass them? That poor mistake, ANZ, with the Matlo Wamfita, guys, another thing. Let's stop making as if Patrice is a poor player. Let's take out Patrice, who's our star player.
Yeah.
We cannot now act as if Patrice now is the mistake. No, Patrice has to miss chances, but we need certain players that are going to assist him. But if our star player last season is on the bench,
Maranai, to your point, Patrice is our most dangerous player. Now, coming towards the end of the second half, when we're supposed to have our most dangerous players playing in dangerous positions. But
this is my point that I'm trying to make. If we have a coach that understands the game, Rulani understands the game. Rulani didn't need to force anything. He was just he told his players relax and control the game. You cannot have a player like Patrice coming back to mark. You can't. If they score, they score. We score. But when it was to Patrice, you make a move, and then coming to the changes, so it has been color for the first time watching Chiefs, guys, and a lot of people are saying Gonzalez who feel and people are not understanding. If you have a player like Gonzalez, you need a proper supplier, not a fast supplier, because he's not gonna. Guys, come on. Lukaku, Lorna. This is a Lukaku. Put the balls in the head, you'll see goals. But when you want him to run for what? Guys, so for me, and this is my problem with Ntseki more than anything. Ntseki is like he's trying to do what Rulani is doing. Rulani build Sundowns, I don't care, but they are still gonna win anyways because they have the winning mentality. And sadly, we are busy debating or being angry. We should have beaten about Sundowns. There's a comment here that was made by one guy. Iliki has 15 teams. Why can't we beat those other teams so that we can better compete with Sundowns than Sundowns guys are being honest. Rulani knows how to plan for teams. Pitso was winning because of him. He knows how to plan for teams. He knows how to find weaknesses of teams. But now each Chiefs needs to just find the striker coach. After striker coach, guys, we just need to get rid of Ntseki. Then this is over sharp, I promise you.
Okay. Malome Kutso, welcome to the show, my brother. How are you doing?
I'm well, how are you, Mr. OT?
I'm okay, man. I'm okay. Hey, the camera taka. How can you work at Chiefs? I don't know why. The camera taka, they start doing things.
No, I think I would have said something and you just left the camera. It's way back. I want to somebody blue green. It's going down now.
Tell me, Malome Kutso, I've got the 2 questions for you. What are your general thoughts about this game? But also now we've come. And I know you're a Paris fan, but we've watched Chiefs games all together on these watch-alongs that I have. Another game where substitutions are made, but it seems as though the substituted players also has become disjointed, because in this game I can give Ntseki credit and say, the starting lineup was great, your plan was great in the beginning, but when he makes changes, man, I can say.
Look, it Chiefs are fun in the Sundowns to a certain extent.
Okay.
And before people lose their mind on how.
I can see the comments now.
No, it Chiefs are fun on the Sundowns in that currently the fans not support what the coaches are doing.
Just come a bit closer there.
Yo, okay, can you hear me now?
Go. Yeah, there we go.
So the difference is the outcomes. But the similarities is that both teams and supporters do not agree with how the coaches are doing things. I mean, we've got Abuti Ernest, who's definitely a Sundown supporter. We've got Mr. Agent, who's a Sundown supporter. And both, in a subtle manner, show a disagreement with how Rulani is doing things. But they're not putting him under pressure. The main difference is the winning culture that was implemented by Pitso. The winning culture that lacks at Chiefs. You understand? So at Chiefs, what you need is to bring in someone with a winning culture to change. We've seen this so many times where you've got a colleague who was not performing proper, right? In an environment where results are not really expected. They're slouching and everything. They move to a different kind of thing, a
division,
a different company altogether, and they start performing, even though people still complain about them. When you check the output, in a different environment, you're like, actually, you're doing much better. So it's the environment that they were in and the environment that they're in now that demands differently of them. And it's working extremely well for Sundowns, where you see players who just come in and suddenly look like big-time players. Bongu, Bombule, when they step in, they've got that presence. There's that aura. When I looked at Ratomo having to play against Motaung, I was like, never days.
Yeah.
It is not going to work. I looked at Motaung, he looked an imposing figure, and Mfukeng suddenly looked timid. And I was like, I don't see Mfukeng finishing this game. Having observed Mfukeng against Kaizer, another imposing figure, but it's 10 times more Motaung. I mean, you can see on his shoulders, he's got that thing of defender of the season. You understand? And that thing around the entire team. You look at the new guy, Uribeiro, when he moves like a star player. He hasn't done much. He's just putting them in the back of the net. He's not killing people 1v1.
Yeah.
But how he moves with confidence. Williams also the mistake on the same level as Peterson, day in, day out, as we've pointed out. But he's a Sundowns player. He's from a positive environment. So what Chiefs needs to do at this point, and they tried it, and it almost worked, get in someone what culture you're winning. And what do I think it almost worked. At Paris, we slouched for some time. And when you listen to Bob Benson and Khanye, they'll tell you, when I got to Paris, I was amazed how these guys would lose a game and be laughing in the change room. You understand? When he came in, and he comes in just before it treble. He comes in, he says he goes off at Abotiko Mdis, and because he believes Tiko is better and should be leading the team in a better direction. And Tiko, he's like, brah, I've been here, and these guys are okay with losing. Which is why we went on a 10-year streak without a domestic cup and a 7-year streak without a league cup. Because of the culture, Pirates brings in players, big time players, Robin Johannes, if you look at it, Ruben Klute, I'm a great man, and we take a treble. You understand? They bring in a coach from the Netherlands, former captain at the Dutch national team. I don't think it gets better than that for the PSL. And you see it change. And then it Chiefs recently, if we're talking culture-wise, throughout the world, we know who rings professionalism. And that's the Germans. You'll correct me if I'm wrong. They brought in Ernest Middendorf, and he actually competed. We might all agree that he's not a great coach, but culture-wise, he's goal-driven, goal-orientated. He's like, I want to win, and I'm going to get it, and I'm going to skin a cat in this fashion. Whether you agree with it or not, I'll do that. You understand? And it just became a big team for a moment, but you could not see the vision. Namkosh. Pirates also brought in a German guy, and we were so patient with him. He gave us our first trophy, and he got us going. We've got Rivero right now, who is also from a society that demands Ama wins, and you can see what's happening. Rawina. So Chiefs needs to get in. Kevin Johnson is a great coach,
but not a winner. Not like that.
You understand? And his personality, does he have a personality that can change an existing toxic environment?
Yeah.
Can he take over?
I wanted Benny. That's why I wanted Benny, me. But anyway.
You kids. Because I look at him, I'm like, I think they're going to dilute you, not the other way around.
Yeah.
So at this point, it's a problem. Chiefs, guys, pound for pound, I don't care if someone judges me for this. Pound for pound, Chiefs has the best signings in the past 3 seasons in a row. They are signing the best players. Show me a better CDM than Nteto. No one. Show me a better defender to be signed than that boy.
Well, but they are defender of the season.
Move it to
Momanyama, they were PSL players of the season.
You understand? Momanyama, Bom Tanzane, Bo Pule Modi. Show me a team that's making better signings. Sundowns is even running out of options locally. They're going overseas. They're bringing unknown entities. And these entities are fitting into a system because it's working well. There's positive energy. Look, agent is also pointing out Billiard, Castro, Dolly. It doesn't get better than that. The issue is the environment. Get in a winner to steer the ship, and then the Chiefs don't think it's over right. That's why right now, Chiefs are ropile. Well, I wouldn't say it's a bribe or anything, but maybe we ref that call, but on a different day, they could have gotten a different decision. But Ama fans do not want to give in to that because they're just losing. And they're okay with losing. They've become losers because of Umoya Ohambayo. I would love to see what Umtetuzo influencer kanjani Chiefs. If Chiefs,
but then is that because in a bigger sense, a broader sense of the league, is that one of the issues with the league itself, that everybody has just I remember saying that Sundowns, the only person who loses sleep, the only people that lose sleep about Sundowns' dominance seems to be Sundowns, right? So is that a thing that has infected the whole league, that they're all fine? You know, the coaches come out and they say, guys, it's okay to lose points versus the Sundowns. What do you expect versus the Sundowns? Is Sundowns the PlayStation? Sundowns is this. Is that affected the whole league now?
100%. It's just literally 3 teams. 3 teams, and the other 2 teams, it's boiling down to ability. But when it comes to Amatima Siras, it's just Sundowns, and then it's Pirates. I can say that with my chest.
And then it's Super Sport.
I don't even have to say it. You already know, which there's only one South African coach who's not just giving in. He's a natural winner. Gavin Hunt, we all know. He wants to win. Gavin Hunt, that's why I am Flolo. Till today, he took Chiefs to the CAF Champions League final with a team that, if I ask any Chiefs supporter right now, tell me who played for that team that season. Give me 3 great players. You would be like, you man. Okay, I think it was Ngezanoko center back. You don't even know who the keeper was, the main keeper. Because Gavin Hunt has that mentality of which he wants to win. He oozes.
We know that kid very well. But
we know it very well. You don't want to say it, though.
It's fine. Let me make my point, and I'll test you when Unje. I'll test you with you. Who was the holding midfielder in that team?
The holding midfielder in the team was Blom.
It's just this one.
The holding midfielder was Blom. He was playing.
Never.
He was Blom.
The
That was the
preferred
holding
holding midfielder was
midfielder.
Umachek. I knew it fall for Blom. Sit down, Mr. Nje. Sit
It
down.
was Blom.
Sit down.
Hey, guys.
Sit down. So all I'm saying is the issue, Keore, there is no winning culture. there is no winning culture, coaches. So right now, just get in the right. Whether you get Umogen Mamila as a CEO, because he sometimes does have it, but he doesn't have the know-how. Get someone in there to lead the ship into it, right? And then you can fire him. Rulani, I agree with Rulani is over experimental, but in the right environment. He was go Pirates and he was too experimental when we had nothing. And it was never gonna work. And we lost. Akinyabo Dlamini out of nowhere. And Sabokola Mlambo, but at Travelali but Mlambo would never play. But at Sundowns, you can afford them. Because you know why? Players have a target. I don't know if people know this. Players have a target every day to say, if I win this game, it's a guaranteed bonus. So it will never kill the hunger. The hunger will always be there because how did my girlfriend is watching. She's like, baby, and then she will pick Louis Vuitton. Why wait so? And even your mother, she's calling Waribulaya, man. Because she knows there's a bonus that must come in. So the Sundowns has created a structure where even the entire family is involved to say, we want you to win. Rona, you're playing for the badge. Girlfriend is like, this badge of yours. Why don't you play Sundowns? Which is how, just to close this one, which is why Uchali, with all his heart, wanted to come back to Pirates. Went on interviews saying, I've said this team, you are supporting us from far, from Belgium, just like Erasmus to say, when I come back, I want to play for Pirates, just like Ulael Foster is doing now, posting skull and bones with T-shirts. But when he came back, his wife at the time said, you've got kids. Look at this offer. This offer is too much. And lo and behold, 2 days later, Charlie was Pagamisang U7 on TV saying, no, we are going to dominate Africa. I rest my case.
Wait, CJ, very quickly, I'm looking at time, but I want to come back to you. How important is winning mentality to Kaizer Chiefs and to the league in general? How important is it? To piggyback on Malube Kutso's point.
Anyway, look, I think I agree with him to a certain extent. In particular, when you talk about winning mentality and winning attitude, you build, but that's something that you build. You don't just instill. You get it game by game. You know, Steph Curry made a very silly comment that got me thinking a while back. He says, I shoot so much that the muscle memory that I don't shoot to score, I just shoot. And then I'll get surprised if I miss. I'll be surprised if I miss. Not that I'm surprised that it goes in with those shoot and turn. When he just shoots and then runs away, he says, I already know it's going to go in. So I think that's the mentality that Kaizer Chiefs has lost, is that it used to be a shock when they exit a cup. Now it's a shock when they succeed in a cup. Because we have lost that mentality as well. I won't lie. I don't think ntseki is a winning coach.
Okay.
I don't think he is a winning coach. I think he's a coach that you appoint when everything is stable. I don't think he's a building coach, nor is he a goal-driven coach, man. I think he's just a manager, just manages things. So I think he's made a big mistake with appointing him. I really believe, I agree with you. Benny would have been a good coach. He would have been a good option. Then
just for attitude.
And secondly, Benny is ambitious. He's ambitious. He's a brand. He wants to keep himself as a brand, as a winning brand, as a symbol of winning. And he's loud. He's a loud mouth. He speaks his mind. He's arrogant in what he says, and that comes out into the field. Look at ntseki when he speaks. He's not arrogant, and you can see it in the in the in the football that he played. Arthur's one is better, even a better coach than ntseki. As much as I think Arthur needed to learn to control his tongue, but you could see that his mind is on how the team is playing on the field. They were very arrogant. We cannot. Arthur's one was very arrogant, an arrogant coach. I think is one coach that I would trust with this squad. He lacked depth in the squad last year. He lacked quality in the squad last year. Let's look at all the players that played in Kaizer Chiefs. Umatlan said, how many times did he face the goalkeeper and he did not score? Upeminyama, how many times did he face the goalkeeper with a ball and he didn't score? How many times did Patrice one-on-one with the goalkeeper and didn't score? How many times did Usale one-on-one with the goalkeeper and didn't score? Let's look at all these players that were playing at Chiefs at the time. Is that all of them had the opportunity to score and they didn't? That tells you, Uti, the style of play is there. That is a winning style that gets you to the position to score. You just needed players with quality just to finish up. And at the end of the season, you could see Dupree started to get confidence and starting to score these goals again. I'm worried when ntseki comes in and the Chiefs, it takes about 45 minutes for Kaizer Chiefs to create a goal scoring opportunity. I've become very. I'd rather have them miss chances than them not creating a single chance at all. And then score one chance that they have created. Then I'm worried. Then I'm become worried.
I think for time's sake, let me bring in Brian. Hey, Brian, hey. Hey, the left, right, and center, nje. How important is winning mentality? How important is bringing in coaches that are winners at some of these teams? As somebody who supports a team that had one of the best winners we've ever had in the history of the PSL, and it was so important that even now, people who are quote-unquote not winners are winning.
Mina, one thing that I can say, ngimzwele uKhuzo, abukhuzo, angibambile kancane. Nayikalile le. Ayikalile le. Futhi benginomuthi, mangikhuluma nayo uyabaleka.
Subeka nayo bu.
Ngicabanga, the way I'm thinking is the evolvement of soccer. At first, it was easy. Umuntu makasuka ku-Pirates aye ku-Chiefs, but the competition, I think Chiefs never prepared for it, including the Pirates. In some years, some team will develop and be in the same par or standard as they are. I think that's where the problem is at Ngabo Chiefs at this moment, is because they used to be there. Now you need to go back and recraft a new craft within the craft. You understand? I think that's where the problem is with the Chiefs' direction as it goes currently. For me now.
I think the next question Mr. OT would ask is that, do you think and if you had an idea, what idea would you put forward mentality, which they didn't look for they didn't.
I think they changed the way the Chiefs has been run. I'm a free agent and hope to win, because for umuntu ozele mfethu sometimes asikhulumeni nge-output, umuntu voluntarily ozele ongamlwelanga ukuthi mfethu I fought for you, you give him a confidence which I bought you out of contract. I think it says a lot to a player ukuthi ungitrustile. I think now mabangakuthenga bathi was the SABC bakhiphela ukhona, for an example, you will feel ukuthi let me be loyal to them because they entrusted me ngako konke. I think it achieves the system of procurement. Thenga a free agent, ukulanda ama-player. I think even the international scouting, sometimes it's evolved. First, I think in the South American scout, Khoza American Khoza CAF scout, bane Central African scout abo Fetumba, then bane European scout. then that's where it works. Then you cannot be having all amehlo in all corners of the globe. I think you need people to do those jobs. I think Chiefs, ngalo Gonzalez bafethu noma loko nithi ufuna amabhola ekhanda, but I still say something mina akusu iyadifa ingqondo yami ku Gonzalez. I'm seeing nje trouble ukuthi maybe that person kubhekiwa ama-video footage nje kuphela and said awumnandi ngoba vele shota nge-strike akangena, but there are a lot of players that can play in Abada in South Africa if you do i-craft kahle. Hamba ku-Champs of Champs ubhekelela ama-tournament wasekasi, hayi i-strikers esikhona bafethu, and there are super strikers, believe you me, even that can play that position. I think so far the way systematically Chiefs wants to do things. Yes, in olden days it used to work where you shell abantu get SOWETO derby. Shell abantu which you will play 70,000 spectacular. FNP was still big by then. But now people they don't worry about SOWETO derby because I think, by the way, it's the most boring game ever for the currently. Yeah, I understand.
For me, I agree with you in that they need to change talent recruitment.
Yeah, it's entertaining. Cash up.
Yeah.
I think what we don't give a credit to Motsepe is the things that he's doing. It's not about the coach. It's about the system that he has imposed. Yikangekho, ahlelele, but the things will go smoother. The winning, Lamuntu lawyer hate losing. If you know him, hate losing. He would take everything and say, if my money went, let me bet with this thing. Then, if you hate losing, then it's not about the player. It's about the system that is there. Ungala the player like relegation. But Malbon, which man win 5 games in a malengaga. Believe you me, that person automatically also by the winning mentality. But you look at a change room here, Chiefs, whereby you've got a billiard on a 1 million, you've got Ungobo, Uspesihle on a 40,000. Do you think the balance is there? It doesn't strike the balance of that thing. For me, Motsepe has built something that I think Sazo compete in more than 2 decades. We came close to Sundowns. We came close. Because whatever that he built, khumbulani kahle, abantu abakhala ngevar namhlanje, abantu bonke lama voice, I can still hear them. Ilanka in 2007, they said money cannot buy success. Abantu bonke that they were saying, umakhaya ntini uyeza ku Sundowns. Asibuyele nemuva. Let's break it down. Yeah, umakhaya ntini. Yeah, ubani Sundowns would buy. But what he has done, he has built.
I think I'm gonna make it an episode. Let's make it a proper episode. Ngoba ngibona isikhathi, Brian. Kumele ubuye sikhulume ngayo in full because it's a very important thing.
I think the phase it Chiefs is where you used to be high, but now because you were high because of bragging rights, the game has changed, Buffett. You understand? It's no longer about SOWETO derby. I want to play for SOWETO derby. It's about filling the pocket of Umtarabantu on a retire after 4 years on a match. Pega indlela ukuthe the way adlala ngakhona ku Sundowns, you can tell ukuthi lo muntu i-career yakhe beyiphelile. But he's rewarding Motsepe. He doesn't play for coach. He plays for a team. Meaning noma bangafaka abantu, I can tell you with nami kusasa mangacoach Sundowns, it can win.
Okay,
In a structure the payment, in a structure
Hi, Brian. I think I'll make it the topic for tomorrow afternoon. We're going to speak about this because I think it's very important. And then tonight we're going to speak about Pirates. I think I'm going to close it, guys. Ngoba now Brian ungipuleli camera.
Unama emotions mawukhuluma nami. Izinto zami. Nami ngiyakala ungena kuwe. Maybe ukuthi bohlala ungihlangisa makumamela ku Facebook and say, mara lo muntu why akamuthi abantu beSundowns abala understand ibhola. And abantu beSundowns, believe you me, I think 80% womuntu ofana Sundowns somebody odlala ibhola that understand ibhola because
I've never spoken. I don't speak badly about Sundowns. I fight my own fans. Mara, it's fine.
Or when you boast, what do you do most against Sundowns? We are special. Perfect is
me.
You always special.
Guys.
Give compliment to Motsepe. Motsepe has done something that it won't be done again.
Yeah. Mara, I've even got a video that says Sundowns is not the problem with the league. I have a whole video.
It's not about the video. Niyahlokoloza madoda, niyahlokoloza. But akunankinga. Sizonitshengisa ukuthi lidlalile ibhola even though singavelanga lapha. But istructure Motsepe senzile. I bet you can go there with Sundowns. Coach them tomorrow with your little knowledge.
Yeah.
You know why? There's a lubricant.
Thank you everybody for joining me, the panels. Thank you for the commenters. TK, man. But anyway, guys, thank you for joining me. I'll see you guys then tonight, 8 p.m. We'll carry on speaking. We'll speak about the Pirates and Stellenbosch game and the issues around that game. Thank you so much for the support, guys. Remember, there's donations, guys. Donations because I'm not allowed to monetize on the other platforms. Malume Kutso, quickly.
Spirit of appeasing what NS. I just want to thank you for what they did to Aldo Kutsier. We almost lost him to football when he was in the wilderness, got injury, a bad trial for Celtics, and I think was let go by Ajax, and Sundowns took care of him. So just for positivity, thank you to Sundowns for that guy.
Thank you, Malume Kutso. Okay, guys, I'm going to close it. Thank you. I'll see you guys at 8 tonight.
Siyabonga mfethu dike praise nani intethe man.
Mina ngiyayipraise. Mara think vale. Let me see Facebook side. Let me close it.